of my brand new live series all around how I wrote my book, essentially, that book writing journey. I know some of you have joined the group this week because you are super curious as to what that process looked like. So first of all, full disclaimer, my background is an absolute mess. Yesterday was a new moon, and equally like just a really powerful vortex. So one thing that I love to do when we have like new moons, new energy and all of the things is move energy. So I've been moving bedrooms, I've moved my office into what used to be my daughter's bedroom. So I need to decorate and stuff at the weekend, but we are where we are. So we move, ladies, not a problem. But just so it's not super distracting, because normally I've got my beautiful like flowers behind me. Um, so yeah, so I wanted to share with you throughout the course of the week the 5 steps that I took to really, bring my book to life, to birth my future bestseller, and share that with you so that you can see how accessible it is for you too. If you have any interest in writing a book, please let me know below in the comments because I would love to know. Um, so here we go, day one. What were the first steps that I took that enabled me to really like go away, create, and then launch and sell my future best-selling book? And I say future best-selling because my launch was a little bit compromised. I've got a launch event next month, so I've got a Christmas CEO brunch for my society members, and that is going to be a dual purpose book launch as well. So typically when you're trying to get bestseller status, I can go into this a little bit throughout the week, but you would want to get a lot of people buying your book at the same time, and then you can get an Amazon bestseller. So that's kind of like full disclaimer. If ever you're wondering how do people get those bestseller status, it's typically based on an algorithm like anything, and it's based on a lot of people buying your book at the same time. Because Amazon kind of just went, there you go, I'd uploaded the book and all the things, but actually I hadn't told anybody. It was just like, there you go. It's just made it a little bit trickier to get any traction behind the sales and therefore get that bestseller status. So it will be, though. It will be a bestseller at some point, I have no doubt. And it's also put it into a category which is notoriously difficult to really, I mean, entrepreneurship, which is amazing, but I'm also up against absolute business giants. So again, to get even in the top 10, I got to the top 15, is just like truly humbling. So I would also say don't worry about the metrics. It's just about getting your book out there and showing yourself what you're capable of, and giving yourself full permission to go in and create that thing that you really want to create. So that kind of takes me to my first step. So the first step was really around setting the intention. So super side note for anybody that's spiritual, I work with a psychic. We have readings like periodically throughout the year, and she'd always mentioned that I would be writing a book at some point in my journey. Now, for me, this felt really personal because, as you know, I am an avid reader, and personal development books and all of the things have really supported me massively throughout my personal development journey. As a kid, it was all about escapism, and I had a very turbulent childhood, and for me, being lost in a book was just a really beautiful thing that I could do that didn't cost any money, that was very personal and private to me. Like I could just go and take myself off and read a book, and just really enabled me to connect with a world that was bigger than me, because I'm from a small town. Not a lot goes on. I didn't feel like I was in the right place. I felt like I've always had this big goals, big heart, big dreams, and just big sense of I'm here to make the world better. But obviously nothing or anyone in my environment kind of, resonated with any of that. So having access to books, just reminded me that there's such a bigger world out there. So, and to this day, I've got thousands of books that I read, and that's always a bit of almost like self-care, like my indulgence. And it's really funny because my sister's also a writer, and she's the same. Like we don't splurge on other things. It's like typically books that we love, and she has like all these beautiful like gold leaf books and all the things. So a book is more than just expert status and all of the things, but equally it's a great tool to leverage in your business for so many reasons. So if you thought about writing a book, like absolutely do it, because it's also a very healing journey. It's it gives you a great opportunity to really acknowledge and reflect on the incredible things that you've done up until this point, and just reminding what a badass you are. So anybody that has that in their heart. Side note, I also have a book launch program that I'm going to be launching in January with a friend who does have a bestseller status on her book. We're going to be doing something together. So if that is something that you're interested in, it is so accessible, ladies. Like literally, you can pay for it monthly, and it's like hardly anything. I've invested thousands into working with business coaches to understand the full end-to-end process, and equally was quoted like £10,000 to then work with a publisher to get it out in essentially the same way that I've done for pretty much free. So yeah, if you're interested in doing that, please let me know in the comments and I will send you the details. But essentially the step one for me was really setting the intention that this was going to be the year that I am going to do this thing, because I've said it for years. I've always had that little desire in my heart, even before collaboration books and having an Amazon bestseller was even a thing. It was always something that just fit in nicely because it felt like an extension of something I would be doing anyway, because I love to write and always have done, but also a great way to serve at a higher level and have more impact at a really cost-effective way. And that's one thing that I encourage my clients to do. If you are a heart-led entrepreneur and you feel like you can't really step into your power financially because you don't want to leave clients behind, you don't want to feel like you're outpricing the people that need you, having a book that is only around like £10 or $12 is a really great way to still be accessible while still honoring your own journey, your own commitments, your own investments, your own expertise and commitment to mastery. It's just a no-brainer. It really makes sense, and that process has been really healing for me. So I set the intention and then I sat with it and I was like, right, okay, well, I've said that I'm going to do this thing for the last 2 years, so how am I actually going to do it? So I was honest with myself, and for me, I'm a manifesting generator in human design. I need to be around other people's energy. I really vibe off other people's energy, and I was always that girl, even when writing my dissertation for my master's degree, that unless there was an element of accountability, I would be doing it at like midnight the night before. I work better under pressure, and this isn't to say that I don't care. It's I can't and I don't know if this comes down to having ADHD as well, but I can't overthink things. I can't continually be thinking about something over and over again. I just had my interview with Fox News, and to obviously talk about my book, which was really exciting. But the reality is, like, a lot of the women needed to rehearse and to just have that confirmation that I've prepared, I've rehearsed, I know what I need to say. For me, it's actually the reverse. If I go over a speech, go over my answers too much, I end up tripping myself up. I end up getting too much into my own head. So I thought, for me to think that, if you want a different result and you want to create a different outcome, you have to take different action. That is the reality. So for me to sit down and think, I'm just going to sit down and write, and I'm going to block out my days. And this is another reason why I have created the book writing program as a collaboration with my friend Lisa Williams, who has a beautiful best-selling book on Amazon, is because her style and her approach to writing her book was very different to mine. She was very good at like methodically, and we've got different human design energy types, so that's why. So we, when you join us together as a collaboration, you're getting both styles. Like, I am somebody who's very much needs to just get into flow, do the thing, get into my creative flow. And full disclaimer, the majority of my book was written over 3 weeks. That's me being honest. Lisa's was like over a 9-month process. So again, our styles are very different. You're going to get the value of 2 different types of mentals that work in very 2 different ways. But to get like the book off the ground, to get me moving forwards, to get certain things in place so that I could then leverage this later in the year. There were deadlines and stuff that I had to meet, and I thought about, how am I going to do this? How am I going to keep myself accountable to actually write this book and do the thing? So I created a book writing club around it. So essentially this was a paid program. It was very low ticket. It was like £27 a month, where other women that were somewhat curious fully understood the assignment. I'm not an expert, as much as I have invested thousands into learning how this process works, and I've also guided and supported clients through writing their own books and worked in collaboration with publishing teams to help them do that. I understand the assignment, I know what needs to be done, but I don't have any learned experience or wisdom to apply to this process. Like, the women understood that this is me and you going through this process together, and I had a number of women that then joined me in that process. So maybe that's something that you might want to do if you know for yourself that you're not necessarily the best at staying accountable and all the things, or equally just join my book writing program and we will keep you accountable moving forwards. that was something that I needed to do, because here's the thing, like I say, if you want a different outcome, you have to take different action and you have to keep yourself accountable to your goals. So for Lisa, that looked like just having a very strict and structured plan in place to keep her to her word count, to keep her chipping away at the bigger project and breaking it down into little milestones. For me, that looked like having accountability, having people that I could bounce energy off of in this process, making the process fun. So that was also something that I'll tell you about on one of the other days, is all of the ways that I created my own experience with this book writing journey, because a lot of people were telling me it's going to be a nightmare, it's going to be so much work, good luck, like I had all of the things, and I just thought that's not going to be my reality. Like I love writing. I don't know if I'm any good at it, but the reviews have told me that I am. But I've always been, just a very big fan of like intuitive downloads and creative writing and all of the things, journaling for healing and reflection. So why is this going to be a stressful process? It's just a few little things in place. So and I'll go through how I made that experience more fun. But for me, initially, like the first step, so day one is about setting the intention, deciding that now is actually going to be the time that you're going to write your book and do the damn thing. And then it is about, setting yourself up for success in that process. So for me, it was finding ways to keep myself accountable. It could just be for you making a big audacious claim on your Facebook status and taking pre-sales. So that's another thing that I did. I allowed myself to receive money through every step of the journey, because I know once I've taken somebody's money, there is no chance in hell that I am not going to do the thing. I'm a very conscientious person. I do not take the exchange of money and energy and value lightly. Like that was really going to get me out of my own way and doing the damn thing, as I say. So what is that for you? Is that having a little accountability pod? Is that just telling people, speaking it into existence? Is that setting up a schedule? Is that rewarding yourself? Is that having a bigger picture vision as to what this is going to feed into? Maybe it's having a vision board. Lisa is obviously the vision board queen, and I know that she had things like Amazon bestsellers on there, images that represented all of the women and the people that would be impacted by the work. What is that for you that will really help you to get out of your own way and to commit to doing the damn thing? Let me know in the comments, and equally if you're interested in doing this. So that is day one of how I created my book and obviously got that onto Amazon. I'll be sharing day two tomorrow, or possibly later today, to keep up with my schedule. But I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. Let me know what your thoughts are, and if you are really excited to learn more about this week.